Let's get our guest speaker up here. It's called Faith, Family, and Freedom. My Lord. Let me tell you about this guy. He has one, and I said this, and you new guests don't know, but I've said this, and I'll continue saying it. He had the best SVP promotion I've ever seen. When you look at the co-founders, they're fighting off tears. When Marvin Sapp sing, and Les Brown is right there, his spiritual father. I mean, it was amazing. Matter of fact, I studied this guy. Let me tell you how much I study him. And Les Brown. Mr. Nelson's birthday, does anybody know, is October 15th? Anybody know that? Can you tell me when Les Brown's birthday is? His birthday is February the 17th, and he just made 77 this year. See, I study people. You got your, are you studying people that you want to be? Are you studying people? He's a community leader. He is an ACN leader. He is a mentor. He's a health guru. He's an awesome father. He's also amazing son to his mom. We all love him. Without further ado, our guest speaker, the great one and only, Mr. Byron Nelson.
Great morning, sir. How are you? So more than anything else, I'm just really excited to be on here, honored to be on here. And for those that are on for the first time, to be in the space of Mr. Al Thomas. And it's really, to be amongst giants is really just a blessing. And I really want people that have been around and are new to not take it for granted. Because having traveled the world and looking at everything I'm looking at, there's just so few people who pour into other people. I mean, literally, unconsciously, unconditionally, no agenda, but to see you succeed. And that deserves more than applause. It's really more than anything. I think, it goes to the old adage, when people don't pay, they don't pay attention. And unfortunately, that's the case within our realm of doing business. That we want people to, almost to a fault, that we want people to succeed more than they want to succeed. And so when you talk about family and friends and success, I just finished listening to a person who I'm sharing the stage with here in Houston, and she had a to-do list. I think that's what stood out to me most, is her to-do list. And her to-do list said, make more money. Number one, make. Number two, more. You're running a business. And if a business does not make money, it doesn't make sense. And so when you start understanding that, and you understand that you have to finish what you start, and you're talking about completing a mission. It was funny because I have one of my partners who is here with me, that's a part of our family in ACN. And we were walking and I was asking her, I was like, what was your greatest takeaway? And I want you guys to get this, it's going somewhere. It really stood out to me because it really made me realize how much Mr. Al Thomas, myself, Julian, and so many other leaders that participate, Mrs. Jocelyn Driscoll, all the people that step up, in this realm, really what the Institute, I call ACN an Institute of Education and Excellence does. And she said, I really am not getting a whole lot. And she was hesitating. She was trying to look for the right words. And I said, what's going on? She said, you spoiled us. I get so much from you and Mr. Thomas and the rest of the lead. I really am not getting anything from this conference. And you got some of the most extraordinary minds in the history of life at this event. And she was just like, I'm spoiled because of the way we set up our program. And here's what I want you guys, here was my response to her and what I want you guys to take away as well. I said, I need you to act as if you own the event. When you participate on these calls, do you act as if this is a call you're hosting for Mr. Al Thomas, that you're hosting to be able to hear the excitement, the exhilaration, the takeaway? What could be better? What could be worse? What could you do better to be able to host? How many more people do you have on these calls to participate? If you had a Mr. Al Thomas, a Byron Nelson, if you have a Tony Robbins, if you have a Jim Rohn, if you have a Les Brown, if you have, a Grant Cardone, whoever you aspire, if they were actually showing up for free for you, how many people would you have on this call? And that's what it comes down to. The problem, and I do say problem, I hate the word problem because that means there isn't a solution, but it's not for me. It's for the people that don't create the solution for themselves. So we'll stick with the word challenge. The challenge for me is that people do not participate in their own rescue. I'm going to say that again. People do not participate in their own rescue. When you show up, and I call it just like a chiropractor, I call it an attitudinal adjustment. That in order to succeed, truly succeed, you're going to need an attitudinal adjustment. As I was listening to this colleague, she was like, if you don't hate poverty, if you don't hate not getting a check, if you don't show up to be in a state of excellence with everything that you do, however you do it, and embrace all of your failures. In fact, I mean, we count our wins. We count how many customers you get on a daily basis. You count how many prospects you get into the business. You count how big your check is. But do you count your failures? Because if we truly understand 10,000 hours of work will make anybody a master, then you'll get more excited about the failures you have to be able to elevate yourself to the next level of understanding. Because you want to become a master at, and see, here's the thing. Everybody's trying to do something new. They're trying to reinvent the wheel. They got a new system. I want to do this. I want to pass out flyers. I want to go on Google. I want to go on Facebook. I want to do ads. I need to do this. Why would you do anything other than what has already worked? I was coaching another speaker before, and they were like, it just seems like all the things that I say, that person has already said. Do you understand that 95% of what Mr. Al Thomas says and 95% of what I say, someone else already said? You know what makes it extraordinary? Two things. Number one, it works. Number two, it's coming out of my mouth, which gives it its own taint. It gives it its own flavor. You got two people that bake a chocolate cake, two people that make a souffle, two people that make some gumbo. You put the same ingredients, but one is amazing. And the other one was just a copycat. The one that's amazing kept doing it over and 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 over. Hey, let me add a little Cajun. And over and over. Hey, let me add a little bit of this. Let me put this type of sausage in it versus that. Let me brew it underneath this type of, stew versus that. And you start to create your own after you've mastered, listen to what I'm saying. Listen, Linda, listen. After you have mastered the basics. But until you master the basics, why would you try and create something on your own that you've never attempted to do in the first place? Because the hardest thing to do is finish what you start. It's like I was looking at all that this woman had done. She's the most extraordinary power broker in real estate out of New York. First Black woman to be able to do everything that she's done. Millions. Her first deal, she went in for the day. She came out. She was about to quit by the end of the day. She showed a property. She didn't have the money to get a license. She didn't have the money to get her exam. She didn't have the money to hang her license. They sent her to a corner to do a whole bunch of calls. And she was working amongst another sect, another culture. And by the end of the day, she was like, I'm not coming back tomorrow. By the end of the day, she had worked so hard because she did show up with an attitude of work ethic that she showed a property in her first day. She made $5,000, not a penny and a puff to piss in. Do you think she went back to work the next day? Yes. Now making millions. Figured out she was giving 50% of her profits over to another broker, and then said, what if I became my own broker? By the time she finished her entire spiel, at the end, she said, and I love my husband. It was the funniest thing. It made my morning. And she said, I don't have a husband. I just love the way it looks because I will. I was like, what? She's like, any single people. I was like, what the hell did she just say? She's like, and the whole point of this is that you have to fail forward. You have to know a bad relationship before you know a good one. You have to know broke before you can know rich. You have to know what it is to be stuck in order to be unstuck. You have to know darkness in order to know light. And so you have to embrace every mistake, in fact, and we say it all the time, the person that makes the most mistakes makes the most money. But most people are not ready for the blessings in their life because they aren't ready, not because the opportunities don't exist. If you are not prepping yourself, if you are not developing yourself, every job that you left, every relationship that you got out of, whether they don't like you or you didn't like them, or they broke up, or you got fired, or you got let go, and I have used all that as fuel, because the fuel that you use in pointing in that direction to become better as you evolve and become that being, that human being, all of that hate or dislike or pain diminishes and becomes the most positive thing in your life for you to get off your ass and become who you were supposed to become in the first place. Because when you become that person you were supposed to become, you'll never get fired. Nobody will ever leave you. You don't have to worry about keeping nobody. You don't have to worry about keeping a job. You don't have to worry about if IRS is going to take your money. You don't have to worry about if you have pennies. You don't have to worry about the hours on a job. You don't have to worry about if I feel like if I have to keep this job and I feel trapped, if I have to stay in this relationship, I feel trapped, if I do this or that. There is no trapping when you become who you need to become. Just nod your head if anybody's getting this message. I mean, just really. It hurts in the moment of getting fired. It hurts in the moment of a divorce. It hurts in the moment of everything that has happened to us that was painful, or everything that we didn't get when we wanted it. But you didn't get it not because somebody else or something else was bad, is because you weren't who you needed to be. I was coaching last night at a round table, and I was like, your greatest investment is going to be in yourself. Do we hear that? But I mean, truly, the more valuable and the more service you provide, it doesn't matter what you market, because nobody's buying what you're selling. They're buying you. If Oprah got an ACN, how many customers do you think she could get from healthcare all the way back down to our ID seal to everything else? Do you think she would have to provide bullet points, a PowerPoint, value, go on and tell everybody what all the advantages of? All she has to do is say, I'm doing this, everybody buy. And they aren't going to ask any questions. They're going to do it because of how much value as a human being she contributes to the universe. You know, I'm sitting there and I'm like looking, and there's one person, the brother sitting next to me, it's just like, they have no idea how old we are until you open your mouth. I was like, well, look at you. I mean, we take care of ourselves. Our bodies are ripped. Our mind is strong. I don't have crow's feet. I have smooth skin. I take care of everything. I get facials at least once a week. I make sure I get primped and pampered. Even in my worst days, I go and get massages. Yes. I'm prayed up. I stay up. I sleep until I wake up. Yes. I'm going to make sure that I'm valuable. Every time I wake up, I want the devil to run. And if he doesn't run, it's because you invited him in. Drama is only plaguing the people that have the pen in their hand, that don't know what they're going to write. Let me say that again. Drama and the devil only plague the people that are writing, but have no idea as to what story they want to write. Because if you know the story you want to write, it's just another draft and another draft and another draft. And oh, I forgot a period. And oh, that needs to be capitalized. Oh, I need to rearrange that paragraph. The content is all there. Everything about your life is a story. Either the one you wrote or the one that you bought. Either the lie you're living or the truth you're actually exceeding it. It's a powerful conversation. Because every extraordinary leader, every extraordinary person is the best storyteller. Now, you only live off of Al Thomas's story or Byron Nelson's story or anybody else's story until you get your own. But the reality is, you're here past 21 years of living, you already have a story. We're just giving you the confidence to pick up the pen and start writing your own. This goes into a young lady who said, this is the first time I'm here at this event. How do I operate? I said, do you understand that wherever I go, it's my first time that they've seen me? I'm not worried about me seeing them. I hope you guys get this. Stick with me. Whatever space you occupy, own it. It's everybody's first time, but no matter what I do, nobody believes it's my first time. Because I don't operate like I'm a newbie. I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me. As a leader, what do you contribute? As a leader, how much value do you bring to the space that you occupy? How much are you doing in contribution? It's called a collision for success. You collide with individuals, you serve, you support. It's what we do. And you stay humble. I'll never, ever forget one of my greatest highlights. I promise on everything that I love. I'm not saying that because we're on this line. My greatest highlights, which I never expected nor asked and tried to pull it from him, was Mr. Al Thomas taking my bags from my hotel to my SVP dinner. And he didn't do it just once. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, he's like, no, we're celebrating you. I'm like, you're the King of Kings. You're the one I aspire. You got the seasoning on me. No, I'm here for you. When you can stand in the gap, prayer, work, space, occupy time, and stay no matter how high you go as a servant, that is how you create the law of attraction of attracting millions more. That is how you get the attention of giants who serve you. We say the 5 people closest to you are the ones that make you. Who are the 5 people that you're actually in your circle that are actually making you? Did you use them for all the wrong reasons? People are showing up for you and you have a whole nother agenda for them. That's your fault. Somebody sitting on top of a castle, planned, knowledge, wisdom, to give your life value to a trajectory way beyond where you could live, but you have your own agenda or you don't even recognize what they're there for. You'll miss the mark. You'll miss the mark because you don't have to worry about keeping something that's yours. And how do you do that? How do you know what's yours? What do you own? You own your time. You own your spirit. You own your mind. You own your work ethic. You own your integrity. You own everything that makes you valuable, that makes you become a magnet that people want to be drawn to you. Versus you trying to take time, money, effort, energy from people that's not yours. You didn't own that. I'll never forget. It was many years ago. And it's when I was looking at my calendar. She's like, there's a date you have a free day. I said, no, that day is the most important day. That's mine. I am going out with me on that day. You are not invited. That, in fact, is clear for a reason. It's full. Find a spot in between one of those hours on those other days. I'll fit you in. That day is mine. And really write this down. Remember this. You need to learn how to be selfish to be selfless. You need to learn how to be selfish in order to be selfless. And when I say selfish, I'm talking about investing in your mind, investing in learning new languages, learning how to make yourself more valuable, learning how to be more creative with your space, learning how to get to a greater state of excellence, learning how to be more of a person that truly learns how to collaborate with other people that are going to take you to another level. It's amazing how when you give people, even if we broke up a room, if we were all in a room right now, it's amazing how people will actually identify and collaborate and find people of like mind, souls, and equally yoked. Oh, I'm hanging out with Susie. She went through a divorce too. We have so much in common. Her man left her and my man left me, and we just hanging out. We just get along so well. So you went found another broke-minded individual to hang out with because y'all can relate on a broke level of spiritual. Are you serious? Oh, I would love to be able to hang out with Miss Tom. He's just so intense, though. And he might Oh no, I'm not ready for him. No, you aren't ready for success. You aren't ready for the adversity that creates a diamond. You are not ready for the challenge of becoming better. You're looking for a comfort zone. You're looking for a freeway, a comfort zone. One of my mentors said this. He said, he's hosting. He said, the true pathway to success is through an obstacle. If you are not faced with obstacles, you will be going nowhere. The more obstacles you have, the more you know the path you need to take to learn how to go through it, around it, under it, over it, until you are confronted with the greatest adversities, the greatest challenges. You can never become better. It's like, the whole thing about the glorification of beautiful skin on a woman that's 25 versus 35 or 40, who's given birth to a child and has stretch marks. And she's actually frowning at it. Those are trophy marks. Those are beauty marks. That is growth. That is giving birth. What is my point? My point is, for your dream, you need stretch marks. You need to have scars. You need to have scar tissues. Some of you need a C-section. It needs to be cut out of you. That's the problem. You're living so small, sitting on top of this dream. I'm telling you, I am a ball. God always presents himself to me in the worst times of my life. And I'll never forget, I'm a ball in water. You can push me under as much as you like. I am going to pop up somewhere. I can only stay down for so long before I explode. I'm going to pop up somewhere. I will continue to find my destination and float. No matter how ugly it looks, no matter how crunchy I get, no matter how mad I get, no matter how much I stink as far as an attitude, I'm going to find, nothing is going to stop me from my destiny. Even when I self-sabotage myself. And how many of you know you self-sabotage yourself? I play the victim role, but I don't look for empathy from other people. I victimize myself. You have to make bad decisions in order to know good decisions. Some of you got to wait until IRS freezes your money before you understand how to get taxes. Some of you really need to go through, complete zero in your bank account until you understand you're running a business. You don't have a business account, but you say, I'm an entrepreneur. You don't have a site. You don't even use your own website for ACN that gives you your own domain with your name. You just have them get a couple of products, a couple of services. You don't look at the new videos that come out. So you don't know all the innuendos and all the different crevices that come with all the new. The company is evolving. I love the example. Someone used it that I use all the time, and that is, I used to love to go to Blockbuster, but it doesn't exist anymore. If you don't evolve, you won't exist anymore. Why doesn't it exist anymore? Because it wasn't willing to shift. It wasn't willing to change. It wasn't willing to go through the paradigm. They were up for sale. Netflix wanted to give them billions of dollars. And they're like, no, we're going to stay the same, just like many of you on this call. No, stay the same. You're just going to have to accept me the way I am. This is who I am. Okay. We won't see you anymore. It's quite amazing, isn't it? How those that refuse to change, that stay the same, start to blame. Those that refuse to change stay the same, and they start to blame. And then we don't see them anymore. It's like poof. Where'd they go? Poof. See, I want you guys to get this. What time is it? I want to make sure I'm on track. I'm gonna use about another 5 minutes. Doc, you with me? Okay. I call my life right now is a call to action. I want you to write that word down. You have to be in a state of call to action. If you're dealing with people with integrity, like myself, and trust me, I have my cracks, so I'm not playing the absolute. I'm better than now. I'm always honest. I lie to myself, and that's one of the things that you got to worry about liars, right? I'm talking about the liar's liar, not the one that is like, here and there. But you got to understand, if you can't be mad at somebody who lies to you because they've already committed to lying to themselves. It's like a thief. Why would you get mad at somebody that's what liars do. That's what Mr. Jim Rohn would say. He's like, that's what they do. How could you get mad at a weed? That's what a weed does. How could you get mad at somebody who uses drugs? That's what they do. You already know what they do. You don't have to question them. You don't have to ask them. When I say I'm gonna show up somewhere, I show up. Other people are like, I didn't get a call. Did I tell you where I was gonna be? Well, you didn't reaffirm. You didn't come. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, you never have to worry about where I'm gonna be. If I'm not there, as I have over the journey with Mr. Al Thomas, I can promise you, it's been 5 or less, there's something tragic happening in my space. You don't have to worry about that. You do need to worry about me, because if I don't show up, there's something going on. And life will happen. Don't get it twisted. But every week, every day, something's happening in your life all the time. See, success is about showing up for yourself. I don't want people to show up for me. I want people to show up for themselves. And when you show up for yourself, then there's a we. There can't be a we until I do what I'm supposed to do. Nod your head if you guys are with me. Yeah, just nod, just okay. Just a little church here as we wrap this up. Find the people that are elevating, escalating, and doing what you're not. Get past a local mentality and understand we live in a global world, that everyone that thinks small, and I know Bree loves this quote because it's one of my favorites. Truly, those that think small will stay small. You can't think large and stay small. And you can't think small and become large. Your definitive purpose on this earth that God gave you the birthright to do is to become an enlarger. It is your birthright to constantly evolve and become better. If a person can see you today and see the same person they saw a year ago, it's impossible. You're dying. I'm going to say that again. You're dying. There's something within you that is killing your life cells. If they don't see a new radical change, a new personality, your expressions coming out, you becoming fully expressed. Well, I'm just naturally a quiet person. Let somebody step on your shoe, on your foot. Let somebody roll over break your leg. Let's see how quiet you are when somebody breaks your jaw. You gonna yell. Learn how to be fully expressed in who the hell you are. And write this down. Queen, I want you to write this down. Write this down. Unapologetically. It's a muscle. It doesn't happen overnight. To become who you need to become is like going to the gym. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. But let me tell you something. Isn't it more uncomfortable being broke? Whether it's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, in any capacity, isn't it more uncomfortable not feeling loved, not being acknowledged, not being rewarded for your work, not seeing your thoughts come to full fruition, not writing that story that you should have written, not being on stage to know that you have served so many people, not for popularity? Isn't it more uncomfortable to look at your bank account than to actually become who you're supposed to become and get paid what you're supposed to get paid? Why, if you're still working a job, would you be so committed to working a job? Here's the statement of the day. How much did you sell your dream for? For those that are on here working a job, how much did you sell your dream for? This is the quote of the day for me. What are you making? 50, 60, $70,000 a year? You making 100,000, 150,000? You got a title? You making $200,000 a year? How much was your dream worth? How much was your freedom to become and do and be worth? That you have been mentally incarcerated, mentally bamboozled, completely psyched out, drank the Kool-Aid from education to job to title for 40, 30 years of your life, some longer. How did you get some grape Kool-Aid? Was it red? Were you on the corner? Were you on the same hood that me and Al were? You grew up with the street lights on, and you're like, oh, ice cream, give me some grape. I need some grape juice. I want some grape. I need some grape. I want some grape. Is it purple? Is it purple? How much of the Kool-Aid did you drink? And how much do we have to go through to detoxify you, put you on a fast, give you a cleanse so that your bank accounts can get full? And when I talk about bank accounts, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about your life accounts. Your life accounts. Here, I'm closing this. The world, like Al Thomas was just talking about, I'm going to be in New York. For those that know Miss Renata Krumer, I'm going to be doing an event, 2 events next week in New York. And she saved me for last. Hopefully she thinks the best is for last because Mr. Mike Kane went first. I'm not saying I'm better than either. And then Brian Sachs went, and I'm going to be there next week. I believe that's the 17th. So, and I'm doing a speaking engagement in New York as well, in Queens, at one of the top hotels. So anybody that's on the East Side, I will be there. After that, I'll be in Toronto. After that, I will actually be in Africa. I'll be also going between Nigeria and potentially Nairobi. And then on top of that, I have a speaking engagement that is tentative between Saudi as well as in Dubai, which I have not accepted. But what I'm telling you is, when you think large, your bank account gets large. And when you think small, I just want to get 50 customers. Really? I just want to get a cab check. I just want to hit a position of ETL. I just want to hit RD. You know what? I'm going to move into RD. That's going to be my residence for the next 3 years. That's like me saying, I'm going to college. I'm going to make it to my junior year, and I'm going to stay there and repeat it for the next 3 years. I'm going to make it to ETL, and I'm just going to take that class over and over again because I have no urgency to get out of school. I'm just going to keep working while I go through school. And this is where I'm going to hang my hat until I get enough belief in myself and I get tired of applauding everybody else, which may never happen. I may just drop out at sophomore ETL. I may just make everybody know that I'm 2 years older than them for the next 5 years at RD. I may make it to RVP and just park my hat there and not even graduate and just not even get to platinum. You all need to listen to me because I've been in school for the last 6, 7 years. You don't have to see me. I hit SVP and I have not fallen out. You don't have to worry about whether I've maintained mine. Now worry about everybody else that you don't see. I've sustained, maintained, and contained my position and get paid every week. And every residual. And it continues to sustain, maintain, and elevate. Why? Because I earned that. I owe that to myself and my family. What am I saying to you? You owe that to yourself and your family.